There are plenty of relaxing games out in the world, such as the amazing Dorf Romantic or the fun Islanders, but there's always room for more. Enter Terra Nil, the game that has you restoring polluted and barren environments into lush landscapes filled with plants and animals. The process of doing so definitely made for some satisfying gameplay, and while I didn't find it too difficult when I played through, there is an adjustable difficulty to suit the strategic challenge you're looking for. I had a blast playing Terra Nil, and I'd like to tell you more about the game so you can decide whether it would be a good fit for you as well. Terra Nil is a strategy game developed by Free Lives, a South African studio whose previous games are about as far from Terra Nil as possible, along with their frequent publishing partner Devolver Digital. The game was originally developed and even released on itch.io as part of a game jam in 2019. In 2020, the original developers partnered with Free Lives to produce a game with more depth and better graphics, which is the Terra Nil that would get to the wider audience. Terra Nil released for PC, iOS, and Android, along with being available via Netflix in some capacity that I could not figure out, but there's some partnership between them. There is talk about releases on Mac and Linux, but it has not released there yet, and no console ports have been announced either. Upon release, the game has had positive reception from critics and, according to the developers, had a stronger than expected response from players as well. Before release, the developers announced that a certain portion of their profits will be donated to Endangered Wildlife Trust, a South African conservation organization. The game's full release was on March 28, 2023, and they have also teased further developments for the game down the line, but that might be a good ways away since the developers said they pushed themselves hard for the simultaneous mobile and PC launch. What do you do, though, in Terra Nil? There are 4 environments to restore: temperate, tropical, tundra, and finally, a city. Don't really know how the city works environment-wise. Not quite tropical, but definitely not temperate. I think they just wanted to have bamboo, lagoons, and kelp forests. Either way, there's a few environments to work with, and each map is procedurally generated based on 1 or 2 challenges. Once you've started your map, though, you are presented with the first of the 3 modes, introducing clean water and plant life to the land. You choose power sources, usually wind or water, and use that power to scrub toxins from the environment. Once the soil is ready, you can then place irrigators to bring plants back to the land. The water restoration is simpler: clean the water that is there and introduce water where it is not. Once you've gotten to a certain level of plant and clean water coverage, you move on to Stage 2, introducing plant diversity. The first stage is mainly just grass, but Stage 2 is when you start bringing in forests, marshlands, and various other different environments depending on the region. Some of them need to work together to form, such as using trees from forests to turn surrounding grassland into meadows of flowers. This stage is also when you get some side goals you can complete depending on certain factors such as temperature, humidity, and in certain places, radioactivity. Completing these side goals not only gives a noticeable effect, such as getting the aurora in the tundra region, but also gives you additional currency to use unless you're on the highest difficulty, when you don't get a bonus for getting these goals. There is, however, one side goal that I highly recommend everyone shoot for as soon as possible, and that's bringing rain/thunderstorm/snow back to the environment. Then the game is doing the work for you of restoring the tiles you haven't gotten to yet, and you can collect the reward. The final stage is the recycling stage. The only thing you're required to do during this stage is to recycle all the buildings and materials you've used and leave behind a self-sustaining environment. The more important part of this stage, though, is animal discovery. You don't have to discover every animal, you have to discover 3 in order to leave the environment, but it's always nice to have more. Each environment has a few animals that you can find with a special building. For each of the animals, you have to find out what they need in order to thrive in the land. Beavers, for instance, need plenty of river and forest tiles nearby. Polar bears need water, snow, and prey. You get the idea. You can scan around the land to try and find them, and if you find an environment that fulfills all the requirements, the animals appear. They're adorable and a lot of fun to watch. Once that important step is taken, though, it's best to pack up your things to leave, although sometimes you'll find you need to alter the terrain so your recycling drones can even reach certain buildings. Once that is complete, though, you can launch your ship and fly away to the next region to restore. Before you go for good, though, the game offers you a chance to observe what you have restored for however long you like before you head back to the main world map. This is a great time to appreciate the work that you have done, and also the nice looking graphics of the game, and the very cute animals around. Each building costs the currency leaves to produce, and you can gain more leaves by restoring the environment and increasing its diversity. Certain buildings appear in certain environments, but their functions are still the same throughout the game. I did have one or two times where I initially struggled in the first stage to get the required plant and water coverage without using too many leaves, because you need them for the future stages as well. Once that stage was complete though, it was pretty much smooth sailing from there in completing the main objectives. Some of the side goals though could be a little more challenging, especially the animal discovery if you haven't set up your environment just right. The good news is you can always restore the environment again with your knowledge of what you need to do and perfect your work. For those who want a little more or less of a challenge, there are a few difficulties to choose from to add some replayability. The last thing Terra Nil adds in after you complete a region once is a different variety of that environment type. For instance, the temperate environment starts you in the river valley, but after you complete that, you can move on to restoring the quarry, where you face different challenges and have to use different buildings and resources to restore it. Terra Nil does struggle a little with keeping player interest after a successful world restoration, but there is stuff you can do here and there that will lead to different experiences. Hopefully though, in the future they can bring in new environments and my most desired mode, a freeform mode where you can play around on a map and make whatever you want. The game's visuals are excellent. You really feel the life of the environment as you restore it. The plants and animals especially are really nice to look at, both visually and from the animation. I think the game in general has satisfying animation for each of the buildings and actions you can take, and how the environment works as you are restoring it. The music strikes that soothing tone that really helps enhance the relaxing feeling that the game is going for. Before the game even released, I was already listening to the music as a fun, relaxing background music option while completing other tasks. Another strong element of the sound of the game comes from the sound design, with satisfying noises with each accomplishment in the game, from placing new buildings to recycling them at the end. The UI and UX most of the time is great, with good use of symbols, unobtrusive hub elements, and clear information presentation. There are a few exceptions though, because the game is usually so clear with how things work, when they don't explain exactly how things work, like being able to start a fire from dried grass, you feel a little left out to dry. Most of the information is there, so you don't have to look for more until you get stuck, which isn't great design. Not a deal breaker though, so still an overall strong presentation for Terra Nil. Terra Nil is not the deepest or the biggest game. It has its tone, it has its message, and for what it is, it's a lot of fun. It's amazing to see the environment be restored in basically the reverse of a city builder, and the transformation of the landscape over time feels like quite an accomplishment once you are done. The music and the art are striking, and the core message and strategy of the game sound. There is more that they can do with this game, and I think they will eventually, and I'm really looking forward to what they do next. But for now, I'm here to enjoy what we have at the moment, which is a fun, but maybe not the deepest, relaxing strategy game I have played in the last few years. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment below your thoughts on Terra Nil, and subscribe to keep up with the channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and happy gaming.